After an incredibly disappointing week from Marvel and DC, I can't tell y'all how excited I am to finally talk about some indies. Howdy, howdy, American Texan here, and I love to talk about comics, the books that we're reading, the art, the wonderful stories that are being told inside. Other channels cover the gossip and the stupid things that people are posting on Twitter. We just want to talk about the stories and what we enjoy about the medium itself. And in today's video, this is Off the Indie Shelf, where I talk about all of the indies that I read for the week from the minor publishers, the not big two, as well as the crowdfunds that come in. And I got one amazing crowdfund that I can't wait to show you. So let's look at what I read this week and go into the top three and the indie books that maybe you should be reading too. All right, let's get into it. We've got a full stack of indies this week. I am very excited to share many of these with you. I won't spend too much time on some of these just because I don't want this video to go too long. We got Capes #2. This one is, a little bit of that sarcastical look, like what if superheroes were business? And it's a little bit of office humor, but it's still got some good superhero action. You know, this guy keeps getting, having to do superheroics when he's off the clock. So he has to go back in and punch in or change his time clock. I know that's silly, but if you work in an office space, you kind of get it. So anyways, Capes #2 was enjoyable. I don't know if it's as good as Invincible. I would like to enjoy it a little bit more, but I'm still in with it. I think it's fantastic. And my LCS owner guarantee, I mentioned when I showed this on my Wednesday poll video that every once in a while, my LCS owner will read a book and recommend it so highly that she will guarantee it. And if you don't like it, you can bring it back for your money back. And of course, once again, I ain't bringing this one back. I know nothing about Gargoyles. This one is by Greg Weisman and Nate Cosby, with Nate Cosby doing the script. I don't know anything about Gargoyles, but you really didn't need to. This was like flipping through the TV and you see a holiday movie and you just stop and watch it. And it was actually very enjoyable. So definitely like a funny detective story. This guy's like, hey, I'm ready. I've been training for this my whole life by watching a lot of TV. So it's really cute. It's really funny. And it's a nice little holiday story. Heartfelt, heartwarming. I think if you're jaded, if you're kind of a jaded kind of person, you might not like this because of the way it ends, but I think you'll still really enjoy it. So that was Gargoyles. I enjoyed that one. Ferocious is a sleeper, I think. I think some people are dismissing it as a mommy, what do they call it? Mommy dommy or something like that, because the beast in here is a woman and she's kind of like a one-woman killing machine, but she's a feral. So she's this kind of like demonic kind of creature or whatever, and the feral are at war with the humans. But this one is really good action, and she's basically keeping this boy as a pet, but she's trying to train it to kill her, or train the boy to kill her. So it's very interesting how this is playing out. It's a very interesting dynamic. You can see here, she's like getting some water, and he tries to sneak up on her, and she's like, nope, you're not good enough, and she breaks his arm. This is really cool. I'm sure it's not for everyone, but I'm really enjoying this. That's Ferocious #2 by Piotrowski and Ercolani. I'm sure I messed that up, but fantastic book. I really, really enjoying this one. Also fantastic, out of Image, Final Boss by Tyler Kirkham and David Miller, issue 2, but I would consider this more of an issue 1.5. Issue 1 was oversized, and this seems like an undersized. But we get the kid going into another battle. We get a little bit more about his history, and we find out this is a little bit like Mortal Kombat meets Indiana Jones. It also gave me a little bit of the Bone Blood, I believe it was called, from Rippaverse, the story that Mahler did. A little bit of that too in here with the way that they're kind of excavating this site and uncovering something. The main guy, I can't remember his name. I want to say it was Tyler, but that's the writer's name, so probably not. He unlocks some special ability by killing people, and he's trying to get paid, but the promoter's not paying him, and we just have an excuse to have some more crazy fighting. It gets really gory. It gets really crazy. You get those Mortal Kombat, like through the head, through the skull, X-ray vision, whatever you call it. This was crazy. It was a lot of fun. But again, this was only like almost like a half issue, which I'm not complaining. I still enjoyed it probably just as much as a full issue. Final Boss by #2, very enjoyable. And then I always do Halo first. Hornsby and Halo, #13 by Peter J. Tomasi. This one is very good, but it's not a holiday issue. It seems like it's been delayed because the last issue came out 2 months ago, I think. And the next issue has Christmas on the cover, but it comes out in February. So not sure what's going on here. But this one is really paying off. We had a really long burn of exposition, and we finally get a lot of action here as the main characters have to decide whether or not they want to stay angels or demons. Do they want to live the legacy that they've been given, or do they want to try to be their own selves? And the way that they kind of resolve that internal conflict is really good. There's this Nephilim character that's trying to buy them some time. A lot of fun, really good. I just wish it wasn't delayed so much, but it is worth it. It's a nice book. I think you can read with your kids. I think it's got some nice thought-provoking questions, and overall really good. So I really enjoy Hornsby and Halo. Also by Tomasi and art by Francis Manipul is the Rockefellers. And this one is the same thing. We had a little bit of development here, but now we're really getting into a lot of action. There's some really good heart in this, and fathers I'm gonna tell this to the other dads here, okay? I'm gonna tell you, you're gonna know when I make this recommendation. You're gonna know what I mean. Dads, your heart's gonna break a little bit with this one. So, family, trying to get out from the evil aunt. She shows up and just really great action with the family. You get the family dynamic. You get the theme of, the power of family and trying to overcome what you've done, because there's a little bit of an atonement theme here too with the father. Anyways, Rockefellers, number 11, really good, really great. I think a lot more people will enjoy it for trades, but for singles, it's very enjoyable. All right, a complete 180 from Rockefellers family friendly. We've got American Caper, which is a satire, funny satire. And I can't show too much in this one. I can show the first couple pages. But this one is basically like a crazy look at America and the culture. And there's a really great quote at the beginning of this. By the way, American Caper by Dan Hauser and art by David Lapham, I believe. And the quote here kind of sums up the book. And where two raging fires meet together, they do consume the thing that feeds their fury. And you've got just, again, culture war overly done, flanderized, overly satired culture war. But it's very enjoyable. Again, if you're someone that doesn't like both sides poked at, well, you're probably not gonna like this one. If you're like, politically homeless, you'll either enjoy this like I do, or you'll be incredibly frustrated like my wife would be, and that's okay. So anyways, American Caper, I'm enjoying it. You got the truck nuts on the front that plays into the story later. And so it's pretty good. It's not for everyone, but I'm enjoying it because it's something different. Final top 3 here. We got Sisterhood from Ghost Machine. And wow, I'd say this every time this issue comes out. The stakes constantly get raised, and I don't know how they're going to go any further. And somehow, every issue they do. This one is an absolute pleasure, and this one is exactly how stories should end, with just a giant climactic battle. You've got like a battle of the best right here. You got Violet overtaking the girl's body, and she's fighting Karma. Ironically, you get it. The girl's name is Karma. It's not cheesy in a way, but just beautiful art here. And it really grew on me. I did not care for the art in issue 1. And every issue, it's really growing on me. And I think I'm either used to it or what. But look at these beautiful pages. Just absolutely gorgeous. And it does have a little bit of a disturbing end, like almost like Twilight Zone-esque. So, I mean, just wonderful reading. Absolutely recommend Sisterhood. I think it read as singles as well as it did in trade. And that's hard to do nowadays. So by Mayatal Shoot and Layla Lies, Sisterhood issue 5, highly, highly recommend it. And then also, this was tough to pick my favorite. These are tied, but I think my second favorite of the week was Heroic Tales by Longbox Comics. This is by John Longbox on YouTube. Disclaimer, I was on his channel, but again, I would give this a fair shake of a review, and that's why it's not the top one. Heroic Tales number 2. This one is another story by the Patriarch, and I have to be very careful flipping that first page because there is some mommy-daddy time, not shown explicitly, but it's drawn very well by Renzo. It is Renzo, right? Let me see. I think, here we go. John Bua, and writer, and Renzo Rodriguez on the illustrations there. Okay, so the Patriarch, just as a working man, I think you'll kind of resonate with this one because, there's a sinkhole crash and people are trying to get a hold of Patriarch, but he spent the last hours being with his wife. You, as a man, or as a husband, I should say, and you should at least feel that, like, you can't be everything to everyone, everywhere, all at once. And so, the Patriarch, wants to enjoy his family, he wants to enjoy his wife and spend time with them, but at the same time, the world always needs saving. So I think that was a very interesting setup. We get a lot more of the Patriarch's powers and how he uses his powers. Very Golden Age in the way that he narrates and speaks kind of what he's trying to do and talking to himself. And then we get this kind of underground scene here. He has some illusions because he's breathing in spores, and we get other indie characters. There's Horace H. Hoover, there's Wolf and Batsy. I think there was one more in here. I don't know who they are. These characters, I don't know who they are. But just really good action here. And every page is absolutely gorgeous. Renzo absolutely crushed it. But not only that, I super enjoy the ads. And John, let me tell you, if you're watching this, the beard ad, you get a little bit of a comic strip there. What I love about Heroic Tales too is it's a flip book. So you're actually getting 2. You get a main story and a backup. And the backup here has an ad for the babyface beard growth thing. This looks so much like the weightlifting, what is it, Get Ripped, it's on the top of my tongue, Atlas. It's the Atlas workouts ads. Oh my gosh. So I used to buy, because I do marketing and advertising, I used to buy old comics just for the ads. And so to see this in here just brought back some amazing memories reading those old comics. And we got a story about Mary Sue. Very interesting that, most of what I know about Mary Sue is just from John talking about it on his YouTube. And you don't get that from the book. You don't get a lot of it from the book, but knowing a little bit of that backstory makes the story very interesting. And you get a little bit of a time displaced telling of the story, not the character, but the storytelling is time displaced. and just absolutely beautiful art. I just love this art. This is definitely, if this had come out, or if I had read this any other week, this probably would have been the top of my week. But Heroic Tales #2 by John's Longbox of Longbox Comics. Absolutely recommend. Patriarch is a fun hero. He's not just going in and beating everyone senseless. He actually is like a father. He approaches it in a very mature, masculine way without just going balls to the wall with your fists. That sounded funny. All right, but the top. Sorry, John. Sorry, Renzo. That would have been #1 if you didn't have to compete with my pick of the week, Skinbreaker #4. I got the Treasury Edition, and just look at this. This is an absolute pleasure to read. I just read it with my coffee, and you can just sit down and just soak this all in. It is a beautiful, simple story about change, about culture, about family, about legacy, and it's done with so little words. I mean, you can see all this. Look at the bubbles here, right? There's not many words. There's some great action, and so much of the feelings and conflict is in the art. David Finch absolutely nailed it. So this is by Robert Kirkman and David Finch on art, and just holding it in the Treasury size on that newspaper pulpy print is absolutely gorgeous. This is going to be such a good read, y'all. And I highly, highly, highly recommend the Treasury Edition if you can afford it. Just absolutely. I mean, it feels like I'm going through a sketchbook here of everything and all the beauty in here. So wonderful book. And again, it's very simple in its storytelling, but it's very thought-provoking in how it tells it. And it ends on a really interesting cliffhanger. This is halfway through because I think they said there's going to be 8 issues. That is Skinbreaker #4. That is my pick of the week. And top 3 of the week: Sisterhood, Heroic Tales #2, and Skinbreaker #4. So there you have it, my top 3 of the week: Sisterhood by Ghost Machine, Heroic Tales #2 by Longbox Comics, and Skinbreaker, the Treasury Edition, specifically by Image. These books just reinvigorated me. Again, the Marvel and DC books last week were a huge disappointment. I was super excited for what the DC was going to be doing with 3 fight issues, and each one of them were just disappointing in their own way. But these absolutely just blew me away. I think I was walking away with a stupid grin on my face like, oh yeah, comics are still awesome. And especially with the Treasury Edition, just absolute wonderful and beautiful to read. I appreciate your time and attention. Like this video if you like this video, and subscribe if you want to talk about more comics. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Adios.